Well, there you go. Mungo National Park.
Done and
What
dusted.
a bloody great spot. All sorts of weather. We've seen it in it's good and it's bad, and it's quite a cool. Feels like a southerly wind blowing this morning. There's the kangaroos just come out to say goodbye. Few about, but they don't pest you, which is really good. People haven't been feeding them, and they're still wild. They keep their distance, but they're there, which is good. All right. Well, today we'll see us leave this part of the lake area and head up to Menindee Lakes, another lake area, which we've seen so many photos and heard so much about. So it's going to be one of those things. Does it live up to expectations?
And there's apparently water in this lake.
And there's plenty of water in this lake.
Where there's no water in this lake.
So we'll hopefully get some nice photos up there.
Yes, although I think we got some good ones last night.
Yeah.
Well, this is all unexplored territory that we're doing now.
Yes, it will be. Yeah, we haven't been up this way before. And then, of course, it will be a matter of which way we can head north or east from there. Excuse me, based on road conditions, because we're starting to get towards where the water was coming down from the big floods in Queensland, which ultimately ends up in some of it into the Darling and the Murray systems. So, all right, well, catch you guys later. Cheers.
Bye.
So this is the Top Hut Road. So this is the road that's been closed. One of the roads that's been closed, but this is the one that we wanted to take to, what's the place that takes us? Pooncarie. So they opened it yesterday about early lunchtime, I think, thereabouts. So we decided to stay and give it an extra day. And there was things that we wanted to do in the park as well, which we hadn't been able to do because that had been shut. So it all worked out for the better. But yeah, so this is just this Top Hut Road. It'll take us out onto, hopefully, supposedly, bitumen, and then up to Menindee. It's not in too bad nick now. It's dried out fairly well, and you can understand why they close it. Otherwise, it gets real ruts where the cars sink through the mud, and they've got the expense of bringing a grader up to grade it all out. For the sake of closing it for a couple of days, obviously saves them that. Keeps the road in pretty good nick, and I must say, so far it's not in too bad. There's been a few little spots they've been soft. Some are settling down, others you've got to go around still. All in all, not a bad trip through. Added to that, we've got kangaroos, goats, and even a snake. Wasn't very happy about the fact that I think I might have run over his tail.
Big black bugger.
He did jump up in the air. All right, we'll keep travelling on.
Got some water in. Where are we going? Straight on. Where are we? Where's the information center? Keep going. Yep, keep going. Go. That.
This way?
Yep.
We travelled along the Top Hut Road until it met up with the Pooncarie Road, which we followed, eventually arriving at Menindee. This is a small town in the far west of New South Wales and was the first European settlement to be established on the banks of the Darling River. It was founded in the 1850s, and the first business to open its doors, yes, you guessed it, was the Menindee Hotel, now known as the Maidens Hotel.
It's the second oldest hotel in New South Wales, and they tell me you can still call in for a meal and a drink, but we'll check that out later. Old mates Burke and Will stopped here in the 1860s as they made their way north on that ill-fated adventure, searching for a route across the continent, and just outside of town you'll find the exact place where Burke and Will's camp beside Pamaroo Creek. We scouted around as we needed to top up with water and fuel before heading to find a camp. As I said this morning when we left the Menindee Lakes district, that we were going to head up towards Menindee. Now, about 4 hours it was. Nice little drive. Lots of goats, a few kangaroos, a few sheep, but lots and lots of goats. And when you look at the territory, you can understand why. Yeah, it's real goat territory. Anyway, so here we are. We've ended up camped at Lake Pamaroo. Lake Pamaroo it's called. It's a pretty spot. So we're down, it's like a little beach. So we're on the eastern side of the lake, I guess. All set up. So we're going to spend a few days here, or until we get sick of it. And I don't know how long that'll take, so we'll see. So we're all set up and watching the sun set. It'll be pretty spectacular, I think. Still a bit windy, similar to what it was yesterday when we were down at Mungo, but that dropped out just on sunset, so we'll see what happens. Alright, we'll leave you with some images of this magnificent little place. Cheers, see you tomorrow. Lake Pamaroo forms part of the Menindee Lakes storage scheme. This comprises of several weirs, multiple inlet and outlet regulators, levees and channels. These works have increased the capacity of the original natural lakes and allow the regulation of most water flows except for large floods. The main weir on the Darling River raises the water to 12 metres above riverbed level and forms Lake Wetherill. Even during low flow conditions, water can then flow under gravity from Lake Wetherill, passing downstream to Lake Pamaroo where we are, and then into Menindee and Cordilla Lake. So after being up for a recce, we now have the ant versus nut pulling championships of 2024. So much stamina. We've engaged all-wheel drive and we're still not able to get in. We'll go a little bit to the left and then a little bit to the right, and we've moved the nut onto its side and we're away. We've got some movement. There you go. You just never give up. Sheer determination. And what a catch it'll be if he gets it back to the nest. He'll be a legend amongst other legend ants. Sometime later. Okay, we're going to do a reco. We're going to find out which is the easiest way to go, because this is a road to nowhere. I need to find an alternate route, he said. We'll get back to him a little bit later when he makes his way out of this last ravine. Well guys, I wanted to share this with you. We've been in this great little spot on the edge of the lake for all day today, and this bloke here has been fishing all day. Now, I've never seen anybody or anything as persistent as this guy's been. He's been here since about 9 o'clock this morning and he continues. He's caught a few fish during the course of the day, but yeah, his patience and stamina is beyond belief. Just an update on the ant saga. He consulted with a fellow ant, but old mate was having no part of this. So I ended up cutting the nut in half, which made it much easier, and it wasn't long before he made off with the prize. Just a cheeky ham steak with boiled potatoes for dinner tonight. This would have to be one of the best campsites we have ever stayed at. Absolutely stunning.
morning, Liz.
Morning, John.
Well, where are we going today?
I think it's called the Kinji National Park.
Okay. So that's just out of Menindee, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
Not far from where we're actually camped.
I haven't actually looked up this place at all yet, so this is going to be interesting.
Well, I did, and there's supposedly a massive big wool shed on here.
Okay.
Because, again, similar to Mungo, it was a sheep property before it became a national park.
There you go.
There's a few of them out this way that have done that.
Yes.
We'll show you guys as we sneak about this park, somewhere a little bit different.
Definitely. We like to explore new places.
We do.
Brush.
You got a map, please?
Yeah.
Yeah, cool.
We'll be able
That'll help.
to show where we're going. Old Kinji Homestead, Old Kinjiga.
The Kijinga National Park is around 44,000 hectares and is located next door to the town of Menindee. After picking up a map and reading some of the history of the place, we set off to have a look at a couple of the areas that are available to camp in. Geez, this is pretty bloody flash. So this is a picnic area. Look at that. They do this really, really well. A bit of water, a couple of barbecues, 3 rubbish tins, your gas cylinders over there to run the barbecues, some tables, little fire pit there if you want to, I guess when there's no fire restrictions you can have a little fire and have your barbecue. It's not long been finished by the look of this. A bit of fresh dirt underneath my feet, and this is the view from the barbecue. There are well-maintained storyboards at each of the locations, sharing the stories of the good times and the bad, including the hardships of years gone by. Next we drove down to the Cordilla Lake campground to check it out. The water is currently a long way from the campground, and we would have had to negotiate some very overgrown bush to gain access, so we turned around and headed for the wool shed.
Chicks.
Yeah, that's just there.
Yeah, I saw Dad. Dad's gone that way.
Fucking going that way. You're fucking supposed to be looking after him, you're fucking idiot. For a whole... Well, here we are at the Kinjiga wool shed. What a magnificent bloody spot. Just a little bit of history. No visit to Kinjiga National Park is complete without exploring the beautiful old buildings of Kachinga Station, here in the heart of New South Wales. Amidst the vast, sun-baked plains of the Outback stands this monument to Australia's pastoral past. Originally known as Menindee, the name was changed in the 1860s. Built in the late 1800s, this majestic structure was once the beating heart of the Kinjiga sheep station, a place where wool was gathered, sheared and prepared for export to the world. At its peak they employed 73 men, and the wool shed processed over 100,000 sheep each year. A staggering achievement given the harsh conditions of the Australian interior. The wool shed, with its towering walls and vast roof, was built from trimmed river gum trunks a local timber, and stands as testament to the integrity of the early Australian settlers. Inside, the shearers worked tirelessly. From the 26 stands, their hands moved deftly with shears that would clip away at the wool. Thick and heavy, the product of years of grazing on the dry, expansive lands. It consists of and is built upon a low sandy hill close to the Darling River. In 1967, Kinchinga Woolshed became part of the Kinchinga National Park. By that time, it is estimated that 6 million sheep had passed through the shed. Today, the Kinchinga Woolshed remains a remarkable snapshot of the past, restored to preserve the history of the Australian wool industry. It offers a glimpse into the lives of those who shaped this country, both the indigenous people and the European settlers who arrived to work the land. We wandered through the woolshed's vast interior, where the echoes of the past still resonate, and walked the same wooden floors that saw the hustle and bustle of one of the world's largest wool production operations. It's a place where the stories of resilience, hardship and triumph are etched into every timber beam. Well, this is the machine room where they would come and sharpen the combs, repair any of the gears, spindles, grease the bearings. Yeah, so this would be pretty busy with all those stands working. These guys would be flat out. Nearby are a cluster of small corrugated iron-clad buildings containing the shearers' quarters, cookhouse and stores buildings. Kinchinga Woolshed witnessed the evolution in shearing technology that was seen throughout the wool industry during the 19th and 20th centuries. Blades were replaced by mechanical handpieces, and the steam traction engine that first powered the machinery stands outside the building. Next, it was off to find the homestead ruins. The homestead was built on the edge of a billabong off the Darling River in the mid to late 1800s and was occupied for some 60 to 80 years. Kinchinga Homestead was of great significance to the area and tells an enthralling story. The main building housed the overseers, and there was an Aboriginal camp close by to house the workers. Today, all that remains of the homestead is some ruins. However, interpretive signage along the way gives us an idea of what the buildings look like. We took our time to wander through the ruins, imagining what life was like for people living on this remote station. There is also a cemetery, a permanent home to the victims of the ill-fated paddle steamer Providence, whose boiler exploded, killing all but one of the crew. We snuck down the back to have a quick look at the billabong, but it's currently dry. Well, this is campsite number 27 on the little river bend track. This would be an awesome spot. There's a bend in the river, camp goes in, comes down from there, comes around. Ideally suited for a big group, but this is an absolute cracker. To note this one if ever we come back this way. It's a problem with this bloody territory. It's spoiled for choices. Absolutely spoiled for choices. Where we are on the lake, or you can be here on the Darling River. Spectacular. This is one of the many weirs that are stationed along the Darling River. Then we headed back to camp to get cleaned up as we were going on a sunset cruise.
Yeah. Yeah, it's not a bad specimen, is it?
Planted it specially.
2,000 years ago?
Be my other life.
I reckon it's, yeah, well.
Welcome to River Lady Tours. This is a family owned and operated business on the magnificent Menindee Lakes and Darling River. The River Lady is a purpose-built vessel designed with a shallow draft to allow access to the lakes. We got to experience the historic authenticity of Lake Wetherill and the Darling River, and got to discover Outback New South Wales from an indescribable perspective aboard this 2-hour sunset cruise. We cruised past ancient indigenous guard trees, centuries-old river gums, and could only marvel at the abundance of wildlife.
Over your right shoulder, you'd be in Menindee, 62 kilometres.
We've snuck off this afternoon to do the River Lady tour, which is a tour up the Darling River and out into the floodplains. This is awesome. We've come to where there used to be a house. People lived here for many years, and then they just basically walked away from the place. There's old engines, there's the bricks from the house. There's quite a bit of remnants here that sort of identify the fact that people used to live here. But yeah, we'll have a bit of a look around while we're here. Hosts Rob and Deb gave us a rundown of the area, including ancient indigenous history, our more recent European history, as well as the native bird life. Then we made our way back home.
In the depths of silence, where echoes remain, you were the sunrise, I was the rain, a collision of souls, opposing in flight. I was the darkness, you yearned for the light. Now you're gone, and I'm losing my mind, I'm losing my mind. Now you're gone. Why did you cut me up, bring me out, and leave me high and dry? You were the laughter that kept me alive. You were hello, and I was goodbye. An ember that flickered, that faded away. You were the summer